In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Eachine UZ65 1S brushless Whoop. Now, first of all, we're going to discuss some of its accessories, also my experience and my final thoughts about this compared to something else like the Mobula 6 HD. So with that being said, let's get started. PCBWay is one of the leading PCB manufacturers out there, and it is the manufacturer I use for my products. Now, if you're either a hobbyist and or looking to create a final product, PCBWay is going to be a really great choice with their 24-hour and also assembly services. So go ahead and check the links down below. So as the name implies, this is a 65mm wheelbase brushless micro here. And let's talk about some of the accessories before we get any further. We get 4 300 milliamp HV lipos. We also do get the charger, and we get an extra set of propellers, tools, and some screws, and that's about it. Oh no, you also do get the case with this. So you would have a nice little carrying case if you needed that. Now, its overall weight is 36 grams with a battery. And as you can tell, we have the receiver built in here. And we also have a separate video transmitter. And talking about the transmitter, the execution, in my opinion, is very bad and could be very detrimental to the lifespan of the quadcopter if you don't wreck it. So for example, right now the motors are rocking is the 0802 19,000 kV. However, these are the previous model from Happy Model, because these are Happy Model motors here, and they do it for Eachine. So these are not the latest generation of their motors, so keep that in mind. The newer motors, as far as I believe, have the newer coating and some other things done to them to increase their ability. The overall flight time here is roughly 3 minutes or so, and it does have some weird vibrations every now and then, and that is kind of to be expected. Even if the frame was good, the execution is pretty terrible in my opinion. Now, the camera they're using is decent enough for indoors. I wouldn't recommend you fly this outdoor. You won't even get a minute and a half of flight time basically, and that's if there is no wind at all. So the camera is very light, it's very small, it's decent indoors. I didn't have any issues with that, totally flyable. But the video transmitter placement is not great in my opinion. They're using the Eachine Nano, which is a really great video transmitter, but the overall execution, if you actually take a closer look here, and everything inside is just packed in super tight, and the execution is absolutely terrible. And this is not the only place where we see that. So for example, if I start moving the camera around, it's going to start moving the video transmitter, and there's a high chance of something touching and something shorting out. These are not conformal coated in any sort of way here. Now, another thing also, you will more than likely probably end up losing the video transmitter's antenna during a crash. They should have at least put some sort of a glue on the IPEX port here in order to slightly prevent that from happening, because if that happens, then a couple more flights you haven't noticed and you might end up burning your video transmitter here. So that's one thing that they should have done for the execution. But if we flip it over, we still have more problems here. If you're new, or if you're a beginner, or if you don't know how to work on these, then as you can tell, the motors are soldered in, and it's not through connectors. Most of these rock connectors, and it makes it a bit easier for especially new people. Now, veteran people will be fine with fixing these, but it can get pretty annoying because you're going to have to remove the whole frame in order to access these. And the problem with the wires is they're also very long, so they do have a probability of getting in between your propellers and boop, getting chopped off, and thus ruining your motor and or ESC or your whole flight controller basically. So the execution gets an absolute F in my opinion on this little micro. Now, its flight performance is just your typical 1S micro. There's nothing special about it. It's your average flyer. It's decent. I mean, I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. There's nothing inherently wrong with this flight or anything, but the overall execution is what really worries me, and the overall lifespan of this brushless micro. For example, like I've recently tested the Happy Model Mobula 6 HD, which I personally found to be a joy to fly, because I'm not really into these 1S micros, but that one was actually a good fun to fly, and the camera was great. You had HD recording capabilities, no oscillations, obviously indoors, I'm not talking about outdoors, and it was much funner to fly than this one for some reason. And personally, I would jump on a Mobula 6 HD. I haven't tried the normal variant, and again, it's the same company that makes this for Eachine, but I guess Eachine went a different route here. And let me know your thoughts down below. And that's all I really got to say about this. I mean, there's nothing else. It's also plastic. It's a bit stiffer. The middle part is a bit stiffer than the Mobula. But at the end of the day, I don't know if that's going to matter here. And I didn't have any problems with the prop guards hitting the propellers through a bunch of crashes, which is a good sign always. So they're actually making these slightly better now. And well, that's all I got to say, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you're interested in it down below in the comment section, and if you do have one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.